Okay, how we doing out there, brothers and sisters? This is your brother Steve, and welcome to the first episode of the Black Revolution podcast. Welcome to the first ever edition or episode of the Black Revolution podcast. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you all for being here. This is the very first edition, okay? So, brothers and sisters, what we're going to do today is we're going to get into black issues. And before I do that, let me tell you what this podcast is dedicated to. This podcast is dedicated to my initial subject when I first started getting on the internet and podcasting, and that is the black condition here in America. The black condition here in America. You know, I have another channel. My name is Steve, by the way. I have another channel. It's called Our Paranormal World. Our Paranormal World. Whoever hasn't subscribed, please go over there to that channel and subscribe. Our Paranormal World. That's at Steve_paranormal. I believe that's it, but I'll have it. If it's not correct, I'll correct it before I go off the air. This podcast is dedicated to my love. And my love is my black people. Not all of us. I don't love all of us. I love black people that know how to act and how to carry themselves in this world. I don't love, criminals and all you type of low-life black people. No. So the title of the podcast is the Black Revolution Podcast. And that's what it's about. It's about black revolution, but not in the sense that you think. It's not about revolution physically where we're fighting and trying to fight other people to become free. No, we're already free. The revolution that this podcast talks about or will talk about is the revolution in the mind of black people. That is the first place where revolution needs to take place. Yeah. That's the very first place where it needs to take place. You see, we live in a day and age that is very different from the period that we lived in when we were oppressed out openly, 100%, and from when we were in slavery. Very, 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 very different. Yes, there's still dark currents going on of racism in our world today. We know it's still there, but it doesn't have the ability to show its ugly face the way it once did with us in this country as a whole people. So this podcast is not going to be about, I'm messed up today. I don't have a job. I can't do this because we were in slavery for 400 years. And, this is not the crutch podcast. If you think you're going to hear the crutch, and the crutch for me is, I didn't go to school and I'm not doing all this stuff and I can't get a job and I can't do this because, 400 years of slavery. Oh, I'm out here selling drugs because, I need money and the white man oppressed us 400 years of slavery. Dude, we're not buying that over here. Okay, we recognize slavery. We recognize that terrible history. Yes, but we cannot continue to live by it. We cannot continue to limit ourselves because, once upon a time we were in slavery. We know the black condition. We know we still have enemies out there that are trying to bring this race down. And with that being said, and those of you who have been on my other podcasts before, and you know who I am, right? You know how you see how the people are doing me on the internet. This black people doing this. You get what I'm saying? This is the very type of black person that I do not represent. See, the very type, the ignorant ones. They're dragging me up and down the internet today. Black people are doing this. Huh? The same type of black people that when they go out and they do crimes, right? And they go and they kill people and they shoot people or what have you. Someone will advocate and say, well, we were in here for 400 years of slavery. 400 years of slavery doesn't have anything to do with the crimes that you commit. These are choices that you choose. So we won't use the crutch mentality here. We're going to tell the truth. And the truth is, at this day and age, black people are their own problem, more so than anyone else. Now, when I first started podcasting, I got on the podcasting platform to bring news to the people because I saw something that I know most of us don't see. Most of us get up and start our day. We play sports. We play video games. We party, we hang out, we do this, we do that. But nobody sees, or no one saw it coming. I saw it coming some years ago. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the attempt of our enemy proper to re-enslave the African man, the African American man here in America once again. Yes, I detected this movement very early. It bothered me so much that I got up on the platform, started a channel to tell black people this. But unfortunately, like always, you meet ignorant fools. And these ignorant fools cause problems for you because they're trying to branch off and start some coalition or gangs or whatever you have. And if you're not a part of that, then they blackball you and they lie on you and they do all this, they do all that. Nevertheless, I'm not even here to talk about that because it's a waste of time. You're always going to have fools and idiots try to so now they demonize me all over the podcast. And I thank God for it because you know what? Those who follow me, after you hear and you see all of this, you follow me, then that means you're meant to be here. I would rather be surrounded by a few good men than an army full of idiots. And that's what we have, unfortunately, out here today amongst our race. Too many idiots. So I saw that they were trying to re-enslave black people. Yeah. And now today, I learned that the movement to re-enslave black people is greater than I thought. Something happened with the presidential race where Donald Trump became president. Donald Trump is assisting our enemies at re-enslaving black people. The man is one of the most racist people. Well, yeah, I'll say that for now. I'll come back, though. I think he's one of the most racist people walking around on earth. If you didn't know, there's a movement today starting in Alabama, Louisiana, North Carolina, South Carolina. It's called redistricting, gerrymandering. I don't know how many people understand how redistricting works. I'm not really that abreast to it. I've studied it just a little, but I'm continuing my study. So redistricting and gerrymandering work like this. Places where people vote, right? You have maps, you have districts inside of where you live, whatever state you live at. These districts are represented by, or they have at their head, a certain political candidate. Let's say the congressional people that you want to vote for, a congressman. If you live in, let's say as an example, District 4, your congressman, there's a candidate that represents District 4. His name may be Ted Johnson, who knows? And then someone else lives in District 10. Let's say a majority black people live in District 10. They have a candidate that they want to put in Congress because they know that this candidate is going to go into Congress and advocate for us, our neighborhood. He's going to go get us money for schools. He's going to get us money for more policing. He's going to fix roads and parks, et cetera, et cetera. So in District 10, this Congress candidate, his name is, let's say, Daryl Jackson. In his district, there are the majority black people that live there. We can get him elected, but through trickery and chicanery, the politicians will say, well, there's a majority black vote in District 10, and they have this man, Daryl Jackson, who can get up in there and represent what they want. To prevent our candidate, the black candidate, or Mexican candidate, or Puerto Rican, Dominican, etc., to prevent him from winning, they will redistrict, remap the areas. Meaning, if that black majority that's voting for Daryl Jackson will win this candidate into the Congress, they will now separate. They will take some of the people that are in District 10 and place them in District 2 or District 9 or District whatever. Okay? They will scatter these people. And the worst part about it is that you don't have to move anywhere for you to be redistricted. You can live in your same house that once upon a time you were in District 10, and now by the shake of a magic wand, you'll be in District 7. when they remap. And you'll be voting for a candidate that doesn't give a damn about you or your interest, right? And you can't vote for anyone else. As long as you live in that district, you have to vote for the person assigned, the candidate assigned to that district. That's called gerrymandering. Okay? By changing the district, you kill off the black vote. When you kill off the black vote, you kill the black community's chances of having representation in government. Now, why is this such a slap in the face to us? Why should we be upset by this? Because I'm upset by it. And I see the National Black Caucus, they are upset by it. But what I don't see is a majority of black people, the common folk that walk around every day in the street, that's on the corners, hanging out, doing what they do, because they don't have an idea of what this stuff means when we say redistricting and gerrymandering. They don't know what this stuff is because they don't know history. We know hip hop. We know these gangbanging and shooting and killing up people and all that. We know that, right? But we don't know government and political issues that affect us. We don't know how the government works. We're not concerned with running around too much. So when these people make laws that are designed to destroy you eventually and are very insulting to us as a people, you don't even know what's going on. But we know hip hop records, we know the codes of the street and all this nonsense, right? That's the stage we're in. And our kids are getting worse and worse and more ignorant as the day goes by. So Donald Trump, it is said that he supported for the Republicans what is called a partisan gerrymandering. Partisan gerrymandering, I think that's the term. Without getting into too much of the red tape of explanation, I'll just say it works like this. Under partisan gerrymandering, the politicians choose who votes for them, instead of the way it's supposed to be in the Constitution. We choose our representative, and he represents the people. So what they've done through forms of trickery and chicanery, they've made it the opposite. The politicians now, through redistricting and remapping and gerrymandering, they get to pick the people that will put them in office. You see, that's unconstitutional. And that's because there's a lot more going on in this country than you know of. But if you stay here on this podcast, you're going to find out exactly who's what and what's going down, because no holds barred. We will not, I don't tiptoe around here. I'm going to expose those who need to be exposed, powers that are powerful, secret in the back. They're coming out on this podcast. Yeah, that's what I'm about. I'm not about the foolishness, right? Another thing that I understood, a movement of Trump. Well, let's say before we get to Trump, the first movement that I, as a human being, recognized that said to me, these people are trying to re-enslave black people, came back in the day with the election of Rudolph Giuliani. That was the first time a flag went up in my mind, a light bulb came on. What did he do? Rudolph Giuliani said to people, more or less to black people, if you guys want to receive food stamps and money from welfare, the welfare system, right? You have to work. You have to work. We're going to cut down your portions of money to $91.50 every 2 weeks. And we're going to give you some food stamp every 2 weeks. If you do not go in these work programs and work for this stuff, you get nothing. Soon as I heard that, a light bulb went on in my head. Okay? That was the first step that I understand of re-enslaving black folk in America. Later on today, underneath the presidency of Donald Trump, this madman who was on a rampage attacking all of the world and attacking the black community, I realized the second part. I think Giuliani was coming to office in 1996. I know it was in the 1990s. I don't know if it was 96, but the 90s. Now, look, here we are much later, right? 2026. See how long they planned this stuff? Donald Trump, he presents to the people or to the world something called the Big Beautiful Bill. And in the Big Beautiful Bill is located the second step the second step in the process of the re-enslavement of blacks. And that is now, not only if you don't work, you won't get 9150 in food stamps. Now, if you don't work, you won't even get Medicaid. You won't even get Medicaid. Huh? If you're on public assistance and you don't join the work program of public assistance, you won't even get Medicaid. And there are millions of people out here today that are on Medicaid that is life-saving. So if you don't work for this welfare program, which only allots you $91.50 every 2 weeks and some food stamps, you won't even get Medicaid. So now they're forcing you into the programs because most people prior could have made it without the food stamps. We'll find a way to eat, right? But now they're forcing you. If you have a sickness, let's say you have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, any kind of other ailment, they're forcing you in this program now because you cannot afford the money that it takes to pay for these drugs for your medicine. Trust me, I know. I'm on quite a few medications and they cost an arm and a leg. So if you're not getting government assistance, you won't even get Medicaid. You get sick, you'll die. Huh? This is called forced slavery. You see, brothers and sisters, you have to be wise enough to know that the second re-enslaving of black people does not look like the first. We don't get pulled out on the shores of beaches in West Africa and get branded on our chests with the names of the people that own us. No, we don't get packed into those boats like sardines and take a trip across the Atlantic in those putrid boats, hot, smothering heat boats, and getting thrown over shore so sharks can eat us. It doesn't look like that. The second re-enslaving looks like someone putting a noose around the head of a human being very, very slowly so that the noose does not hit the person in the face and they wake up and say, hey, what are you doing? No, they're inching the noose over us very, very slowly. The only ones who will see that noose are the ones who have studied their history and they understand the history of black people in this country. We are the only ones that will see the noose. I look at black people every day. I live in New York City, Bronx, Boogie Down Bronx. I go there, I see the people, I see the kids playing, everything's happening. Nobody knows what's happening to them. The younger generations, they have no clue. They will be affected by it, but they have no clue. They're slipping the noose around our necks slowly but surely. But you know what a noose does, right? Chokes you until you die. So Donald Trump has just completed the second phase, which is this gerrymandering, and also making it mandatory that you work for $91.50 every 2 weeks and Medicaid and food stamps. This is not a government that serves the people anymore. No. This is an oppressive government, an oppressive regime, because there are dark powers behind this government. And once again, there is a transition of power that is about to take place from the United States to another state that is inherently racist, specifically toward the black man and Arabs. And we will talk about that state that is being prepared and reared and geared up to take over from the United States. We will talk about that state on this channel. I'm going to expose it because it's a treacherous state. It's a murderous state. It's a racist state. It's the mastermind behind 9/11. Yes, it is. And you stay here on this channel, I'm going to expose it. So this is where we are, brothers and sisters. And if you understand a little bit about history, you would know why the Supreme Court ruling that took place in Alabama to uphold gerrymandering and redistricting is a slap in our face. Why? Because it attacks the black vote. Let's see if we understand this. Maybe some people don't understand. Do you know what it means to have a representative in Congress? Your congressmen are at your disposal wherever you live. You have to find out where if you live, let's say in Miami, Florida, somewhere, you have to find out where the office of your councilman is. If you live in New York, you have to find out where the office of your councilman is. Same works for every state. Our councilmen, council people, are our connection to the central government. We live in a community. Let's say there's, 100,000 people that live in our community. We want to connect with our councilman because the needs or grievances that we have, he will be the one to take them to government. Let's say our schools are failing in the district that we live in the state that we live in. The education is poor, or we have a shortage of teachers. We need new computers. We need better this, better that. We need money for these things. So the people will come together as a community and they will approach the congressman for that district. That congressman will go to government, and the idea behind him going there is that he will secure the monies that's needed to improve our educational system, which is failing in New York City terribly, right? So if his grievance is about something, he'll reach out to the government to deal with these grievances on our behalf. This is how it works. Okay? This is how it works. So if you don't have representation in government, someone who specifically represents the area that you live in, guess what? You ain't going to get no better schools. You ain't going to be able to fight crime by adding more police. No. You ain't going to be able to get the drugs and guns out of your communities. No. Because you're not going to have the monies that are necessary to bring in this extra law enforcement, or to bring about better school systems, better education, better computers, better cleaner parks, better roads. The roads are broken down. You need more better roads. You want that done. You're not going to get any of that. And this is the importance of having representation in government, especially for black folk, or for anyone, but more so us. Our neighborhoods are terrible, right? This is, by the way, this is what triggered the Revolutionary War of 1776. Yeah. No taxation without representation. These were the colonies that were under the British control. They were colonies under British command. The British government didn't really go break their neck to recognize the 13 colonies and their needs. Instead, they focused on their empire, which stretched a long way. And that neglect of representation is what kicked off the Revolutionary War of 1776. And guess what? Neglect to represent or let a state or district or people have representation in government in this day and age results in poverty, results in crime, miseducation here in America. Results in violence, results in greater jail, the number of people getting locked up increasing, the rate of recidivism increasing. Poor education and poverty lead to crime. The way we fix poor education and stopping crime is by connecting to our people that we have in government, our congressmen, etc., and getting the monies and the things we need from them to help increase our communities for the better. When a country or a district, when they redistrict and remap for black people and they weaken our vote, they are saying the hell with our neighborhoods, our dilapidated buildings and pissy hallways and crime-ridden areas. They're saying the hell with you. Our children go into these schools where they're not even graduating. They're in the 10th grade, 11th, 12th grade, and they don't know their 5 times tables. And the teachers are just passing by. They're saying the hell with you. That's what the government is saying when they don't allow you to have a representative, the type that you need to represent you in government. And remember, when you think about redistricting and gerrymandering, the point to remember is this. Every councilman or woman, every candidate who wins, they are assigned to a district. I live in District 27, let's say. The councilman there is Jasmine Rice, a black woman. She's dynamic. She cares about the black people. She's going in with the black issues, and she's going to get it done. That's in District 27. The government may say, no. Too many majority people and black people in District 27. So let's change District 27 to District 39. And now District 39 comes with an already assigned councilman, councilwoman. You have to vote for these people because now they just put you in a new district, though you didn't move out of your house and go anywhere. So this type of finagling, through that finagling, they have now made you vote for a candidate that doesn't represent you, or you just don't vote at all. And then you still don't have any voice. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. This is an old trick that these people play, our enemy proper, in government. And it's a slap in the face because this is what 1870 to 1965 was all about, with the ratifying of the 15th Amendment. That was the amendment to the Constitution that said, guess what? Black men have the right to vote. Voting is not based on religion, race, color, whatever. That's what it said. But people found, the racist whites, they found a way around that. And they started hitting us with a whole bunch of other conditions that had to be met. So in order that we could vote, one was poll taxes. You wanted to come vote, you had to pay at the poll some taxes, monies, to cast your vote. That was problematic for white people because for black people, because we had just come out of the Civil War. We had just come out of slavery. We didn't have any money. We were slaves. The next litmus test is to see your literacy. Can you read or write? Oh, in order for you to vote, you have to be able to read. Well, remember, we just come out of slavery. Reading wasn't allowed. If you tried to read, they cut off a limb. If you taught anybody else to read, they punished you, hung you, whatever. And then there was the grandfather clause. I'm not sure exactly what that was at this moment, but I'm going to do my research. But I know to get around the government saying that black people have the right to vote in 1870, they use all of these trickery, right, to make sure that you would not cast your vote and have no representation in government through the things that I've just said. Now, this went on from the era of Reconstruction in 1870 all the way up to 1965, the Voters' Rights Bill. It was not until 1965 that they finally corrected this issue that said, you can't use any underhanded means to stop black people from voting. 1965. So now with the new bill that the government has just issued, Alabama, they now undermine the Voters' Rights Act of 1965. Which means now they can use all those underhanded tactics that they've used in the past. And today it takes it in the form of partisan gerrymandering that Donald Trump suggests, redistricting the areas, remapping areas to underhandedly, so that underhandedly the politicians can recruit the members of these areas that they know will vote for them. And this is not constitutional. It's against the Constitution. Okay. So I wanted to get up here and say that, a very short episode for the first one. If you have not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, because I promise you're going to get what you need out of this podcast in the future if the Lord says the same. Because this is my issue. This is what I do. I'm prepared to fight and be a voice for my people. Understand me, my listeners, for black people. And this is not about racism. We welcome white people, everyone. I hate racist people, though, right? At the same time, I hate ignorant, stupid blacks. Okay? If you're out here endangering yourself and you're endangering the black community by hurting the black community, you're out there gang banging and killing each other, don't come here, man. As simple as that. Don't come here. I don't admire you. I want nothing to do with you. I see you as a parasite to the black community that does more harm to the black community than any white man could ever do. So if you're an idiot, you're a black person that's an idiot, right? You're not concerned with the issues of the day that matter about our well-being as a community. If you're a separatist, you don't think as a person who wants to form a whole so that we can come together and fight our enemies, right? If you're not living that way, don't come to this channel, please. Please stay off. Because like I said in the beginning, I would rather be surrounded by a few good men than a multitude or an army of idiots and fools. Okay? So with that, brothers and sisters, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. This is a short episode today, but when we come back, we will be talking about Black history. We will be talking about slavery. We will be talking about the situation going ahead. How do we move? We will try to educate and enlighten ourselves, our people, and we will be talking about shadow governments, who really runs the United States, okay, of America. We're going to get into all of that, what some people may find kind of conspiratory, but all conspiracies are not conspiracies. There's truth to everything, and we're going to deal with that on this podcast, the Black Revolution Podcast. Until next time, peace and love.